and just executing sound fundamentals.
Got to look at Sean Lewis, the offensive coordinator. Moment ago, downfield, incomplete, but a flag down intended for Hunter, who took a shot afterwards by Henry Blackburn. And now some words, Shadur Sanders coming to the aid of his #1 target there.
Yeah. That's dumb football. I understand this is a rivalry and you're hyped up, but you're up. You're up by a touchdown. You guys are playing good football.
There are 2 fouls on the play by the defense. Both fouls will be enforced. Pass interference, defense number 11. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 15 of the defense.
Hello. Yours truly, Diva Laree, representing welcome, and hello. Okay, so let's get into this thing. You all see the topic, my YouTube people. So the topic is laws behind the dirty hit. Now, I know, we've gone through this. Everybody has been talking about it, the dirty hit, as we talk about Colorado versus CSU. Once again, what an awesome game. That game was an awesome game. It was a little nerve-wracking for those of us who are Colorado Buffalo fans, but that game was worth the money. It's worth the money. It was a very good game. So first of all, Louie Luggage, welcome to those of y'all who might be new to the channel. Louie Luggage, what is it about? We are talking about the Colorado Buffaloes, and where does Louie Luggage come from? We're talking about the football team. We're talking about the staff. We're talking about, everything else that goes with the Louie Luggage, that whole football team package. That is the Louie Luggage, and this is centered around Coach Prime. That's what we're talking about, all right? Now, so let's get into this Colorado versus CU game that happened on Saturday. And specifically, I want to go into the hit. Now, we know that Colorado won that game in double overtime, and I went live. I was up till 4 a.m., ladies and gentlemen, watching the end of that game and watching the press conference and taking my notes and all that stuff. Double overtime, 43 points for Colorado Buffaloes and 35 points for CSU as they lose by 8 points. Okay, it was a tough game, and I talked about how CSU came in swinging. They had been said to be underdogs. It was expected they were going to get run over, but they came to say, no, we're not going to get run over. All right, that's fine. They came in swinging. Now, we want to talk about right now the dirty hit and the laws behind the dirty hit. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this because I want to go into some things that have not been mentioned. At least I have not heard them mentioned. I want to go into some things that at least I have not heard mentioned. Now, I have not responded to this because I don't like to knee-jerk on things. I like to take my time. I like to do research on things, and so that when I speak, I like to speak with compassion, kindness, love, and respect. All right. Now, with that being said, most of these things that I'm going to say are not going to come off as compassion, love, and respect, but I'm going to get into the law. Okay. I'm going from man's law all the way up to universal laws. And I want to get into some things that have not been mentioned with respect to this dirty hit on Travis Hunter. Now, before I get into that, once again, I want to welcome everybody. I want you to like and share, subscribe. I want you to go over to our TikTok channel, Louie Luggage, Louis Luggage. Go over to our TikTok, Louie Luggage channel. I want you all to like and subscribe and follow on there. And because we're going to be putting this video up over there. And also we're going to start going live there once we get our subscribers up. So go help us out over there. All my people on YouTube, thank you. I appreciate you. Welcome. This is Louie Luggage. I'm yours truly, Diva Laree. I want to go into when I first saw Coach Prime. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. All right. And when Coach Prime came in, of course, my mother was the biggest Falcons fan. That's how I learned about football, through my mother. Well, really kind of through my mother. And then the fact that I, grew up in a neighborhood with all boys. If I want to go outside and play, I had to play with them. And they taught me how to play football. And so here's my mother constantly cheering for the Atlanta Falcons. I became a Falcons fan. When Coach Prime first came into Atlanta, that he brought with him all of this fanfare and excitement. I mean, because he delivered on the field. All right. When he came in, he's constantly getting these interceptions. He's running it all the way back. We're excited. And then he wanted to play on offense. And as a matter of fact, I saw Coach Prime actually throw a football in a game in Atlanta. So he wanted to do it all. He's just like what Travis is doing. You see Travis in practice with the quarterbacking now, hanging out with the quarterback coach. So I'm saying to you, he brought excitement even back then. And when he left Atlanta, as I said before, I was happy he left Atlanta. Now, I was an Atlanta fan, but I recognized that Atlanta did not have what I would call the ability to win. They did not foster the atmosphere of winning. Yeah, they let Coach Prime do Coach Prime, and he was doing Coach Prime, but that team was not one that fostered an atmosphere of winning. And so when he left, I was happy for him because I knew he was about to go and get some championships, and that's exactly what he did. He did it with the 49ers. He did it with Dallas Cowboys. So I was happy for him because I already knew what he was about to do. And he couldn't do that with Atlanta. So that being said, here he goes to Jackson State. And then he leaves Jackson State, and then he goes up into Colorado. And when he gets into Colorado, he's telling the players, look, I'm coming. And I'm coming with my luggage. And it's Louie. Okay, that's where this comes from. That's where Louie Luggage comes from. Because I'm a fan of Coach Prime. It's not to say that, I love the Colorado Buffaloes, the way they have embraced him. And I appreciate the fact that Jackson State or JSU gave him the opportunity to build. Happy about that. Now, I'm a fan with him at Colorado, and so this is who we're watching. That being said, let's get into this Colorado versus CSU. Now, you've got Colorado 3-0 now. They're 3-0. They're coming into that. They went into the Colorado versus CSU game 2-0, of course. So now they go into the game, and again, CSU comes out swinging, and letting it be known up front that we came here to play. We're not just going to lie down and allow you to roll over on us, and that's great. No issues with that. But one of the things that became clear very early in the game is that they were playing tough, but they were playing dirty as well. And so we see that here's a situation where they're constantly getting called for fouls. And again, to be honest with you, Shedeur got caught on camera doing some dirty stuff too. But then there's no telling what was going on before he was caught on camera. He didn't just try to do what he did just because he was frustrated. A lot of things were going on with him where he was being targeted and they weren't being called. So now let's get into this hit with Travis Hunter. I want to go into this thing once again where we're going to go into law. And I'm not just talking about man's law. I'm not just talking about the law of the game, of the football game. The law of the football game, start there, go on up to the man's law, and then we're going to go up to universal law and understand what's really going on in this deal. Okay, and I'm going to speak about some things that are really kind of contrary to what most people have been saying. And somebody's going to be mad about it, but that's okay. I'm talking law, and for those of y'all who don't know, that's what I do. All right, I have a university, a law university, and this is what we deal in, law. So I'm going to give it to you tonight as I talk about this Colorado versus CSU game, and then we're going to go into this next game coming up against Oregon. All right, let's play the play first. And then once we've played this, then I'm going to discuss what happened and the legal ramifications behind what was done. All right, let's go. Let's go.
And just executing sound fundamentals.
Got to look at Sean Lewis, the offensive coordinator. Moment ago, downfield, incomplete, but a flag down intended for Hunter.
All right, so just saw this is the hit on Travis Hunter. So he's throwing it now. Boom. Now the ball hits the ground. And see where this number 11 is. This is who we're talking about, number 11. The ball hits the ground, and then it's clear it hits the ground. Now watch this. Boom. Then he hits Travis. And for those of y'all who don't know, Travis Hunter was hit. He's expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks for fractured ribs and lacerated liver. All right. So there's the hit there. Boom. Now watch the guy how he's standing over Travis. Now watch this again in slow motion. The ball hits the ground. Boom, right there. Look at how far away from Travis this guy is. The ball hit well in front of him. He saw the ball hit, but here he goes. Not only does he continue, but he bends down.
Moment ago, downfield.
And then rises up. Look, extended his leg. So he fully meant to do this. He fully meant to do this. This was with intent to harm Travis. He didn't do it just because, oh, well, I made a mistake. No, sir. So let's go back. Let's go back.
Lewis, the offensive coordinator, moment ago, downfield.
All right, you see the hit? Again, we're going to see this, and then, of course, yes, they throw the flag. But watch this. Boom. There you go. The ball lands right in front of him. So by this time, he knows to pull up. The ball is a dead ball.
Took a shot afterwards.
Boom. And he hits him. Now, Travis is on the ground, rolling around in pain. They're not showing the whole thing. They cut it because Travis was really hurt. Of course, he fractured the man's ribs, which hit his liver. Okay. So now, after the game, here he is, this number 11. We're just going to call him number 11. He's receiving death threats. And Coach Prime comes on Tuesday in his Tuesday presser, and he says, this is just a game, or this is a game. Somebody has to lose, but he shouldn't be receiving threats against his life. Okay? And I want to say I totally agree with that. And one of the reasons why I even started following this story, and I've been following with respect to Coach Prime's coaching career since he was at JSU. Now, here's the deal. Coach Prime possesses the traits of those people who we deal with in UNA, my law university. Kindness, compassion, love. That's what he exhibits. Honor, integrity, and respect. He exhibits all of those traits. Once again, kindness, compassion, love, honor, integrity, respect. And so because he exhibits those traits, it was just hard for me. It's hard not to love Coach Prime because he exhibits these traits of what all of us should aspire to be. So anybody else would be upset with what was done, because this was not something done by mistake. And we all accept the consequences that go along with playing a game like football, which is really a gladiator sport. These are gladiators out here banging on each other. We understand the consequences that come with that. But we're going to get into the law tonight about what we saw. All right, we're going to get into the law tonight about what we saw. Now, he's getting these, player number 11 is getting these death threats against his life. And Coach Prime is saying he's requesting that people not do that. And he's saying, and the way he delivered it, he did it without even condemning those who did it. His thing was, don't do it. It shouldn't be done. And I totally agree. That's not something that's righteous for anybody to be doing. This is in accordance with universal law, because when you put that kind of energy out, it's got to come back to you. I want it to be understood. In accordance with universal law, I say you shouldn't be doing it, because when you put that energy out, it's got to come back. Okay. But one of the things, let's understand this about Coach Prime and Coach Prime's voice. When he speaks, people listen. And we have proof of this from when he was in Mississippi at Jackson State. And there was all of this crime going on. And Coach Prime said, listen, this weekend, this is what's so amazing about what he does. This weekend, let's not have the crime. All right, we're going to have this game. We're going to do this. And let's not have crime. This weekend, we're going to stop. We're going to not have the crime. And you know what? There were reports that crime was down for that weekend in Mississippi. There were reports showing that crime was down that weekend in Mississippi. When he speaks, people listen. I say this, that what he said and what he did, I totally agree with. It was totally necessary, and I totally respect it. All right? So when I say what I'm about to say, I want you to recognize I'm speaking law. It's not about anything else but the law. What is the law on every level and every aspect? Let's get into this, and then I'm going into Oregon after I talk about this. We're getting into the fact that here's this number 11 receiving these death threats. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about what the law is, first of all. Let's get into the law first of all. Talk about the laws of football and the football game. Here's the laws. When the whistle blows, the play is dead. When the ball drops, the play is dead. You must pull up. Now, we understand incidental contact where you're moving so fast, and you might brush against them or you might hit them a little bit. We get that. But this was not that. When you continue a play or continue a hit after the ball landed right in front of you, and you know full well it's a dead play, but you deliver a hit, that's assault. In the eyes of the law, first of all, in the eyes of the game, in the eyes of the rules concerning the game, okay, yeah, they threw a flag because it's a foul. Okay. It really should have been targeting. Had it been towards Travis Hunter's head, then it might have been targeting. But right now, what he did was he went for the man's rib cage, and it was clearly intentional. If we're looking at this from a standpoint of law, what we just saw was an assault. Period. And point blank. You can call it whatever you want to call. No, it was just an accident, or he was just a little bit aggressive. He committed an assault because the intent was clear. He assaulted Travis Hunter. Okay. Now, if we're talking about this from, let's go to the higher law, universal law. He put out an energy. I want y'all to understand something. When we're talking about the intent was to do physical harm to someone. The intent was to physically harm someone. That's an assault. From a universal perspective, when you put that energy out, it must come back. All right? So now, here you got this situation where he's made this hit, and then he fractures the ribs of Travis Hunter. Okay? He fractured the ribs of Travis Hunter. Now, let's understand something. What would have happened? Because we get people saying, well, it was just a game, and it was just a hit, and he shouldn't have a death threat. Let me ask you a question. Would this not be considered a threat against Travis Hunter's life? Would this not be considered attempted murder? I'm just asking. Because had Travis Hunter's ribs punctured his liver or his lungs, one of those ribs could have fractured or punctured any of his vital organs inside here. If that had happened and Travis Hunter had, we're just going to call it on the dark side now, what would that not have been considered assault? Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is he threatened Travis Hunter's life with his actions. And so the fact that he did that, again, from a universal standpoint, means that his life got to be threatened. Listen, I know that everybody doesn't agree. I'm not saying I agree with what anybody did. I'm not here to condone or condemn. What I'm saying to you is, but was it not for his own actions, he wouldn't be getting no death threats. And let's be clear, he threatened Travis Hunter's life with his actions. Now, I've talked to many of people who played football. Heck, I played myself. I didn't have somebody coaching me to do things like what these people were doing on the field. But I've had plenty of people who played, and they tell me, when you on the field, all kind of anger comes up and you get the desire to do all kind of mean and wicked things. I get it. We saw it. And what I'm saying to you is, here is a man who threatened somebody else's life. Now, he ain't threatened his life. He was just playing the game. He purposely meant to hurt this man and went in for his ribs. Yeah, you threatened his life, and you full well knew it was a dead ball. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm not showing compassion. I'm just telling you what the universal law is. When you put the energy out, it must come back. Now, I was watching some people. I'm going to go into this now. We understand what the law is from the lowest to the highest. I was watching these people, and they were saying, it's just a game. I'm going to need everybody to not say that again, because this is not just a game. I'm going to need everybody to come off of that. This is just a game, because this is not just a game. You don't tell me it's just a game when people are making millions and likely billions off of this thing that y'all call just a game. Yeah, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, but you don't tell me it's just a game when you relocate whole families from Jackson, Mississippi, who followed you all the way up here to Colorado. You don't tell me it's just a game when you are talking to these players and you saying to these players, hey, why you playing this? You want to get your mom out the hood? Or you playing this because you want to help your dad out? You want to get your family to another? No, this is more than just a game. This is a livelihood. Don't tell me it's just a game when you got every television network wanting to be a part of this, wanting to see it, and they making millions off of it. Don't tell me it's just a game when Travis Hunter is making money off of every appearance he makes when he steps on that field. And he got people paying him to play this game. This is his livelihood now. Shador, this is his livelihood now. I get it. I love the fact that Coach Prime says we got to forgive, because that's part of universal laws. We have to forgive. I totally agree. But then call a spade a spade. This is not just a game. That's my point, what I'm making here. Because you don't tell me it's just a game when, listen, I don't condone or condemn gambling. But somebody bet their house on this. It ain't just a game to them. It's not just a game to Travis Hunter. This is his career. Let me ask you another question for those of y'all who, again, I'm not condoning be threatening people. You put that energy out, it's got to come back. But let me ask a question. Because somebody is going on about, oh, you scared him with the death threats. When Travis Hunter was laying on the ground, throbbing in pain, do you think his career flashed before his eyes? Do you think he was scared when he was laying on that ground in pain? Thinking about, oh my God, what's just happened? You think he was scared? I bet you he was scared. I bet you his whole career flashed before his face. Am I going to be okay? His life might have flashed before his face. He had a rib going into his liver. I bet you he was scared. I bet you he was scared. So when you tell me about him being scared about a death threat, going back to universal law, he's got to experience the fear that he put into that man that was laying on the ground, that he hit, that he intentionally harmed, that he assaulted. This is an assault. Again, I don't condone nothing. I just need to speak on what the law is. So when you're coming at me about, oh, he's afraid, he just got a return of energy. Not to mention, I'm watching this whole crew of 4 or 5 people, and they talk, oh, the death threat is so wrong, it's terrible. I've gotten death threats, and everybody else, I've gotten death threats. Okay, it's a threat. People make threats all the time. They do not follow through. Y'all, all 5 of y'all have had death threats. Not one of y'all still living. Coach Prime had death threats. That little boy that was in JSU who dropped the pass in the Celebration Bowl, he got death threats. He's still living. He's still walking around. He got scared. Okay, you're getting a return of the energy. So what I'm saying is, when we're just saying, oh, it's just a game, and oh, he doesn't deserve this, I'm just giving the law. I'm putting the law out. Again, I ain't here to condone or condemn. What I'm saying is, this is what the law is. But were it not for his actions, he wouldn't be receiving what he was receiving. And again, whoever is putting that energy out as far as a death threat is coming back. They get in return what they put out, the same way he got in return what he put out. I want to go over the frequency of these penalties. And I need to pull this up because the frequency of these penalties that were going on in this game, it's indicative of something that was being taught to these players by a coaching staff. There are things that were going on. Listen, I've never seen a call like a penalty called targeting. I've never even heard of that in a game. But like I saw high block, illegal high block. But I'm going to call out these penalties that went on in the game. And this is telling me that somebody was teaching them to do these things or encouraging them. Shot block, unsportsmanlike conduct, low block, illegal blindside block, offensive illegal block, above the waist. I never heard of that. But then again, I got another one. Face mask, defensive targeting, illegal blindside block. To have all of those kind of penalties in one game, most of the time you see a penalty like offsides, holding, illegal formation. But what's all this illegal? These are things that are dangerous. I've not seen not one team ever, not in the pros or college, with these kind of penalties and this many of them, the frequency of these penalties in one game. They were trying to hurt these players. I don't watch any other game. Sometimes you might see an illegal low block or illegal blindside every now and then, but not with 8. Hold on, let me count. 13. This is not including the other penalties they got, which was offsides or holding or whatever. This is just the ones that were dangerous to other players on the field. I'm saying to you that the play that hurt Travis and put him in the hospital was an assault. an illegal action. And everybody's talking about, well, something needs to be done. Here, the only thing that needs to be done is Travis needs to file a lawsuit, period and point blank. I have written up the documents for you, Travis. All you need to do is send them off. Because when you sue CSU for allowing or for someone causing this activity on the field, when you sue CSU, because they are very much responsible for the simple fact that the person who assaulted Travis was wearing a CSU uniform. So CSU is responsible. Sue CSU, and I bet you they'll do something real quick. I bet you he'll be suspended real quick. I'm going to say this too. That team was winning. And I said this in my last session that that they outplayed Colorado. They did. When you look at the statistics, and if we go back and we look at, the yards, passing yards, and we look at the running yards, we look at time of possession, if we look at all of these different stats on paper, they outplayed Colorado. All right. But why were they not able to pull it out? And I'm going to get into some things now as I go into my next segment. But why were they not able to pull it out? I'm going back to the law. Now, again, y'all know I'm in law, universal law. We're going to talk about this. There are spirits working with us. All right. Pay attention now. Pay attention. There are spirits working with us, all of us. And you got to understand when we talk about Colorado, because the coach of the CSU team was saying, and I don't want to mention his name, but he was saying that Colorado was outplayed when they played TCU. They were outplayed, he says, when they played Nevada. And I can't totally disagree with him. However, I want y'all to understand something. They were winning this game. But were it not for the illegal plays and all of the bad energy they were putting out, they might have won. They lost partially because they were putting out a whole bunch of bad energy and because Shedeur is just all that. All right. He is all that. But they have a lot of help when they go into these games, and we're ready to get into that. You can't win with bad energy. You can't win when you're trying to cheat. And they were cheating. Nobody's willing to come out and say it. I'm saying it. They were cheating. What am I talking about? This player on the defensive team, the one that got kicked out of the game in the first overtime, he's, oh, my leg, oh, I'm cramping up, oh, my knee, oh, my, and then he comes back in the next play. They take him out one play and then he comes back. Well, what was that? He did it twice. Then somebody else started doing it. What are they doing? They're trying to slow the game down because it was going too fast for them. You can't tell me he's got a leg cramp and then he comes back and motors his way around the defense and tackles Shedeur in the backfield. You can't tell me you got leg cramps. No, you faking. Nobody's saying it. I'm saying it. I said it. It was some faking going on. You can't win like that. You don't have integrity. Do you understand? The spirits know who you are and what your intent is, and every energy you put out shall be delivered. That's why you can't win.